Global trade didn't explode just because ships got faster. It took off because one unglamorous invention made the whole system compatible. It wasn't a new engine or a new fuel. It was a standard, one box that changed everything. Stay with me, because once you notice this, modern life looks different. Globalization runs on one simple idea. Before this invention, global trade existed, but it was painfully inefficient. Ships could cross oceans in days. Cargo could still sit in port for weeks. That's where time vanished. That's where money leaked away. And the reason was simple. Ports weren't moving cargo units. They were moving individual items. Crates, barrels, sacks, and boxes, one by one, often by hand. Imagine unloading a ship piece by piece, hundreds of workers carrying and stacking nonstop. Every item had to be counted. Every item had to be protected. And every item could be damaged or stolen. That risk was baked into the price. This was break bulk shipping, and it made trade slow, expensive, and chaotic. Here's the real issue. The ocean wasn't the bottleneck. The port was. Loading and unloading took forever. It demanded labor, paperwork, and constant security. And because it was slow, it was unpredictable. Unpredictable means businesses can't plan. If you can't plan, you can't scale. And without scale, global trade stays limited. Now here's the twist. The invention that fixed this wasn't glamorous at all. It was a steel rectangle, the shipping container. A simple box built to a standard size with standard corners and standard handling rules. It sounds minor, but standards are powerful. A standard turns chaos into flow. When everyone agrees on one size, one method, and one interface, the whole network can be optimized. And once you optimize a network, you change the economics inside it. That's what happened here. The container didn't just help shipping, it rewired it. Before containers, you handled cargo directly. After containers, you handled the box. You didn't touch the goods. You sealed them once and moved the sealed unit. Factory to truck, truck to port, port to ship, ship to port, port to rail, rail to truck, truck to warehouse, one unit end to end. That single change removed massive friction. It cut theft, damage, and labor time. It also simplified paperwork. Documents could follow one unit, not thousands of items. And the biggest change was speed. Ports could move containers fast with cranes and routines. So why did this make trade explode overnight? Because it slashed costs dramatically. When shipping gets cheaper, distance matters less. A factory can be across the planet and still make economic sense. That's when globalization becomes normal. Now let's break down what the container actually did. First, it standardized the interface. A container has corner castings that cranes lock onto, so almost any crane can lift it. Any truck chassis can carry it. Any rail car can move it. The container becomes universal. Second, it standardized the workflow. Ports could redesign around one unit. Instead of armies of dock workers moving items, machines moved containers. That doesn't just speed things up. It makes outcomes predictable. And predictability is what supply chains crave. Predictability is what lets businesses scale. Third, it standardized security. You seal a container and it stays sealed. That reduces theft, tampering, and disputes about damage. It also builds trust. A sealed box is easier to ensure, track, and verify. Now here's the important part. The container didn't just change ports. It pushed the world to rebuild itself around the container. That's the real transformation. Ships changed. Container ships were built for stacking boxes like Lego. Ports changed too. They needed giant cranes, container yards, and new layouts. Cities changed as well. Warehouses moved, highways expanded, and logistics zones grew near ports. The geography of work shifted. The geography of trade shifted. And labor changed. The old dock work economy shrank. Containerization reduced manual labor needs at ports. It created new jobs, but wiped out many old ones. So how did the world adopt this so fast? Network effects. Once a few major ports adopted containers, everyone else had to follow. If a port can't handle containers, ships avoid it. If ships avoid it, trade avoids it. And if trade avoids it, the port declines. That's the network effect in real life. Now add something even bigger. Containers made multimodal transport normal. Multimodal means the same cargo unit moves by truck, rail, and ship. It does that without being unpacked. That removed entire layers of handling. And when you remove handling, you remove cost. When you remove cost, you unlock scale. This is why global supply chains became possible. Products could be built from parts made everywhere. Parts made in different countries, assembled somewhere else, then shipped worldwide. The container made that complexity manageable. It turned fragile trade into repeatable routine. Now here's what most people don't notice. The container changed information. Once you standardize the unit, you can standardize tracking. Manifests get cleaner, scheduling gets easier, insurance gets more precise. Ports become measurable machines, and once something is measurable, it becomes optimizable. So the container created a feedback loop. Shipping got cheaper, and trade volume grew. More volume justified bigger ports and bigger ships. Bigger infrastructure made shipping even cheaper. The cycle accelerated. That's why it feels like trade exploded. The system hit a tipping point. But there's a hidden consequence. This system created dependency. When everything is connected, disruptions travel farther. A blocked canal, a port strike, a container shortage, or a demand spike, all of it can ripple worldwide. The same efficiency that makes trade cheap can also make it fragile. So what was the invention that made global trade explode overnight? It was the container. More importantly, it was the standard behind it, a boring box that made the world compatible. A simple interface that turned trade into an optimized machine. And once it started running, it never stopped. So next time you see a container truck on the highway, pause. You're looking at the backbone of modern life. It's why products are affordable. It's why supply chains stretch across oceans. And it's why the world feels smaller than it ever